I spent a long time believing successful people had something I didn't. More discipline, more time, a better routine, and maybe for some people that's true. But every time I looked at my own life, I kept thinking, how am I supposed to build a business when I'm already juggling so much? I'm a mom of four and a full-time student, and somewhere in between that, I'm trying to build a handmade business from the ground up. For a long time, I told myself I'd really start making progress when life slowed down. When I had a quieter schedule, a few more uninterrupted hours, a little more energy. But the truth is, I was waiting for a version of my life that might never actually come. So instead of waiting for the perfect time, I decided to run a little experiment, if you will. I gave myself one simple rule. Stop waiting until everything felt ideal and start showing up for my business with whatever time I actually had. No perfect schedule, no waiting for motivation, just making progress with the life that's already in front of me. I'm Caitlin, the owner of Blue Hydrangea Press, which is a really fancy way of saying I make vinyl stickers and other small handmade goods from my kitchen table upstairs. This week, I'm giving myself 7 days to treat my business like it really matters. It may be a small business, and I may only have 30-minute increments to work on it at a time as a mom of four and full-time student, but we are quitting procrastination. The rules are very simple. I am not waiting for motivation. If I have 20 minutes, I work for 20 minutes. I'm not going to try to do everything. I'm going to pick one thing a day to move my business forward and just do that. And I'm also not going to judge the size of the progress. Consistency is the goal, not completion. Today is about getting unstuck. If you saw one of my more recent videos, you saw where I got this desk and the story behind it and why the insides of it are such a mess. But everything on top of here is all my doing completely, and I need to undo that before I can even start on real projects. Because, yeah, there's a lot going on everywhere. That is first and foremost in this however long chunk I get while the baby's asleep. We never really know, and that's the interesting part. The inside of this desk is going to be scary. This was actually not my doing. This is the previous owner of this desk. Quilting thread. And there is needles stuck to almost everything, so you really have to watch your hands. Although it is a precious moments box, which is very cute. I have a few more minutes. The baby just went down for his second to last nap of the day, and I'm going to start on the pouch that I cut and pinned last night. I know you're thinking, Caitlin, why are you wasting time and fabric and energy on a makeup pouch? That is simply because I want to refresh my sewing skills a bit before I jump into the bigger bag that I'm working on. Not only have I not really sewn in years, but I haven't been able to sew every day. It's been very sporadic, of course, I'm working on other things, I'm doing orders, and so I'm just I'm slow to relearn this stuff. So I'm gonna work on that. I have the lining and the outer cut and pinned. I need to cut the batting, and then I will be able to sew. So if I get to the actual sewing part, that's another question. But the desk is clean, the desk is organized. That's all I can ask for. Okay, I finished 3 sides, which I think is all I'm gonna get done until after dinner, and that's okay. I noticed yesterday that things kept getting tangled in my bobbin case, and I just wasn't sure why, because I kept rethreading and rethreading and rethreading and changing the needles and making sure everything was free of lint and like all the things. And I just messed around with the tension a little bit and it fixed it. And now I realized I have so much more motivation to sew, so I'm actually excited to do it. This is kind of what I meant by getting unstuck. I realized that since I kept having problems with it nesting on the bottom, that I just was like not motivated at all to do this or do any type of sewing at all. Now I fixed that problem. I've done 3 sides of the lining perfectly. I'm so much more motivated. Like, I'm actually excited to do dinner, come back, and just kind of relax. It's thundering and monsooning outside, so it's just like the perfect vibe for me to like zone out and just get this done. So I'm actually excited. And that's exactly what I meant by getting unstuck. My desk was a mess, everything, I couldn't find anything, everything was crazy, and I was able to take care of that, get things going on my machine again, and now I feel good, and I feel like I can move forward and make real progress. So, by tomorrow, I will have all 3 of these pieces done, hopefully quilted. We'll see about that. Hopefully quilted. And then I can start on the actual assembly and perhaps catch up on some stock, because I do need a few more stock of especially the Disneyland stickers, and then a couple more prints. I need to make a few more prints. So that's all easy, takes just a little bit of time. I just need to do it and stop procrastinating. No more of that. So if yesterday was about getting unstuck, literally, today is about creation. I have a lot to do. I probably will finish my cutie little makeup pouch. I would like to finish drawing my Disney Snacks art print so I can get that into production for tomorrow. And today is Wednesday, so I also get to create a discussion post for my art history class. That doesn't have to be done until 11:59 p.m. though, so let's have some fun first at the sewing machine. Now I have to sew on a zipper. I started with this beige zipper and I was like, this is just way too boring. I'm sorry. This is just, it's not the vibe. So I went out today to my local stitchery, which is the cutest little place. My kids got what they call old lady candy from the front, and they fortunately said old lady candy in front of the woman who owns it. Anyway, they loved it nonetheless, and she actually found it funny, thankfully, that they said that, so we're good. But I found these 2 fun little patterns, and I kind of want to play around with potentially doing something really fun and funky. Again, this is just a bag for me. I won't be selling this, so I can kind of do whatever I want, and I kind of want to do something fun. I thought the blue was cool, except for that it's giving very red, white, and blue. I thought it would be fun because there's very small amounts of blue in this lining, and I was like, oh, it would be fun to bring it out. And then I put it next to this, and I was like, that's giving American flag. Not sure on that. Oh, May save that for later. This though, is this funky? Is this too funky? I kind of love it. I sat there, God, you guys would be embarrassed at how long I sat there and played with this stuff because I was looking at like a dragon fruit combo. I was looking at purple. I was looking at all the things, and I just settled on this with the help of my daughter, and I thought this was cool. I like it. I think I like it. I have my motivation drink because I slept a total of 5 hours last night with the baby broken up into pieces. So I'm also just now realizing that I only have one of each piece and I'm supposed to have two. I don't know how I skipped that. I don't want to talk about it either. What do they say on Facebook? Like fail often or whatever. Fail miserably, fail often, miserably, fail miserably often. I'm doing it. Unfortunately, not every day in small business is fun and games. Tomorrow is the end of July, so I have to do a bunch of admin. I need to go over my bookkeeping and my expenses. I probably need to research a few more materials because I'm not loving the batting that I'm using for my little like testing makeup bag. I also got a bunch of samples that I need to take pictures of and update my listings, including this little cutie. This is a transparent sticker, so when you take this off, you'll be able to see through this guy here, which is really cute. Not every business day looks super creative. Sometimes it just looks like spreadsheets and really boring tasks, so. So that is all done. I think I have the listings written for the new stuff. I have the new pictures of the samples that I got in. Now I want to kind of create something potentially for the buttons because I don't love the way that they're just like there. Like I would love to like create like a little background. I don't know if this is going to be possible though on my sewing machine. So I will try that out later today. I may or may not film it because I may or may not have to go get more thread, and that might take up my entire day because that's how things go when you're bringing along 4 kids to supply shop. And I totally forgot to mention this earlier, but our basement flooded earlier this morning, and that was really fun. I honestly had today planned to just do admin work because I was going to have some friends over and we were going to enjoy the pool and have some brunch. And then that happened. So I have a little bit more time than I thought I was going to today because I honestly had blocked out most of the day to just invite my friends over, and that didn't happen. I need to check out. Mentally, I am burnt out. I need to check out. This week has been crazy. It's been busy. I've had not 4, but 5 kids for half of this week. So I am just I'm a little burnt out. I'm a little stressed. I'm a lot tired. I'm ready to relax. I also have a 4-page paper due on Sunday night, so we may not be thriving right now, but we are surviving. Just gonna zone out to some crafts while my kids enjoy the pool for the rest of the afternoon because I can't do much else right now. Today is all about learning. By the way, if you hear a hissing coming from this area, it is a fan because our basement flooded yesterday. So it's all taken care of and cleaned and everything, but it's still a little wet in areas. So it's good. The problem's solved, but there's fans going down there. I received this morning my first wholesale sticker order. So I am going to have to put in some research and learn how to ship that and what kind of shipping it needs because there's 22 stickers. So my typical postage that I use goes by 8 ounces and it will definitely be heavier than that. So I got to put in some research before just in case I need to do any adjustment with the cost of the shipping. I also recut a bunch of pieces for a new boxy makeup bag. I learned so much on that first bag. I'm already just like so excited to do another one. And this time I'm doing the more traditional diagonal quilted pattern on the front and with the interfacing. So I did all this yesterday. I know exactly what I want to do. One of the biggest things that I learned that I wanted to do was, without even realizing it, I had cut the fabric this way so the stripes were horizontal rather than vertical, and I really wanted them to be vertical rather than horizontal. And then for the zipper pulls, I actually cut out this fabric instead of the ticking stripe. I had the ticking stripe on there before, and I thought it would just be kind of fun to have both of the fabrics on the front, on the outside, instead of only on the inside. So you can really see like the contrast. This pattern matches really well with the zipper that I'm using, the green funky zipper that we chose. And so even if it's just for me, I ended up giving the first bag to my daughter and she's like filling it like with her headphones. It came out to be honestly so much bigger and so much roomier than I thought. So after this, I'm going to work on a hair tools bag, which I think could be really cool and I think might be successful if I tried to sell it locally. I kind of talked about that in my last video, just trying to sell things more locally on Facebook Marketplace specifically, but in other places too. And it's gone so well and it's been so great. So maybe I dive back into that and try to figure out where I'm at with that. Because I think a hair tool quilted bag, I've never really seen anybody selling those before. Like even at makers markets, I've never seen that. So I want to work on it. I want to at least experiment with it. I will definitely be doing some research today in what kind of fabrics and what kind of interfacing slash stabilizer is heat safe. I was seeing one pattern online use fleece, which doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to me because fleece is like plasticky. So I would think that that would melt. We need to jump into some research. So today is my learning day because if there's one thing I have learned about becoming a small handmade business is that you are constantly becoming a beginner at everything. Just every time you want to do it, just starts over. It's a constant cycle of just beginner, beginner, begin. Today is about momentum. Yesterday, I ordered everything I would need to make the hair tools bag that I was talking about, and I'm really excited about that. I'm going to continue on like the drafting of those bags soon. I also learned how to make quilting diamond patterns on the front. That was something I was not familiar with doing. With my last bag, I just did squares in a diagonal pattern, and it looked really good. I did enjoy that, but I really wanted that like diamond quilting pattern. So I worked on that. So today is really about now moving the business forward. I have two of the largest orders that I've had in a while. One of them is the largest sticker order I've had ever. And I'm really excited about packing that and getting that out. One of the orders is for 22 stickers, and it's not like all of my stickers, it's multiple quantities of each sticker. And then I have an order of, I think, 2 or 3 stickers and then an art print. So we get to work on the art print too. That is my first art print from Etsy sales. I have sold a few on Facebook Marketplace, and that's been really fun because I get to hand deliver them and talk to the person, and they're always really into that and excited to get them. I believe I have almost all of the Disneyland map. No, I need to print out a few more Disneyland maps for sure because I only have 4 of the small ones and 1 of the big ones. So I know I'm going to need to do that. And then they also ordered a bunch of monorails, which is really fun. That listing has not been doing great, so I'm excited because I was sure that somebody would love it, and I know that it just needed to find its people in the algorithm, and it did. So Kristen and Caroline, if you are watching this, thank you so much for your orders. I'm so excited to pack them for you. I hope that you love them. Please tag me and let me know what you're doing with them. I especially want to know where this big order is going and what it's going on. Are we gifting? Are we keeping them all? Like, what's happening? I can't wait to know. When I started this 5-day procrastination experiment, if you will, even though it's not really an experiment, I think I was hoping that by the end of it, I would finally feel caught up with a lot more direction, because if I just somehow stayed very consistent for a few days, everything would obviously just fall into place. And that's definitely not what happened. I still have unfinished projects on my desk. There are ideas that I haven't even started and haven't even begun to research or purchase materials for. And obviously, like this last order, there are still plenty of things on my to-do list that just rolled over into tomorrow and even next week and even the week after that. And I'm kind of realizing that that's just what building something actually looks like when you have a very full life outside of a small business, which most of us do. Progress doesn't have to look like very obvious finished tasks. Like every work session should end with a finished product. It's really built in the tiny decisions and the single orders and the small moments that nobody really sees. Answering one email, cutting one pattern, researching one supplier, writing and editing one video. Because I don't think I'm ever going to have a season where life is suddenly just quiet and I have an abundance of time to work on my business all day long in 8-hour chunks. So if I'm going to build this business, I have to build it around the life that I already have. That's definitely more than enough for me. That's enough for me to feel successful. I don't think this experiment changed my schedule. My days are still full. I still have 4 kids, school assignments, laundry that never ends, and a business I'm trying to build in between all of that. But it did change the way I look at my time. I kept waiting for a day where I'd finally have enough of it, and maybe that day comes someday, but until then, I don't want to miss what I can build with the time I already have. See you guys in the next one.